Okay, let's say you get your rivet gun clogged up, any number of things that you might be using with your hobbies. Easiest way, pull her apart. And this is a Arrow model RH200, but you'll notice the pin on the side here has a little slot where you can take your wrench that comes with a gun and give it a few little twists and pull it right out. One thing you want to watch for is inside here there's a pretty powerful spring, not counting the spring that spreads it apart, but you want to watch, because if that spring takes off you might have a hard time finding it. Well, as you work it out, you'll see that you have your spring and you have part of the return mechanism, and these are the little jaws that grab the rivet. And most of the time whenever you get like dirt, different types of glue, stuff like that from your hobbies, the stuff will get like plugged up, usually not in here but in this little tip right here where actually the rivet will pass through, or on the jaws itself, which you can see there's two mandrels right here. You can see they have like little teeth on them, and then that's what grips the rivet. And if those get kind of clogged up, they may not grip the rivet real well. But now, like cleaning, what I would usually clean with is a soft cloth or cotton ball or something like that, or cotton swab, and a little bit of rubbing alcohol. Do a nice job of cleaning them off. And then putting it back together takes a little bit of a fine touch. What you want to do is put the two mandrels together so that you have the narrower end pointing down the barrel, and then you want to slide them back inside here. And then when you have it in, what you do, you want to have the narrow end protruding out of the end right here. And then you take the little piece at the back end, I'm not sure what you'd call this, but you drop that down in there, and that goes up against the mandrels, or the teeth that grabs the rivet, and then you push that spring back in there. There's a little trick to getting that spring in behind this pin. What you can do is I usually use like just a pencil, and I shove that spring down far enough that I can take like a heavy duty paper clip, slide it in the hole right here on the side. So I push her down in there, slide it in this hole, get it in far enough that the springs hold, like the paper clip's holding the spring, and then you take this paper clip and I try to push it through the other side, push the spring down a little ways. Might have to use the pencil to shove down on it again, but there we go. Push it to the other side, and I back it off just a little bit because we've got to slide that back in the gun. One thing I'll do to make it a little bit easier to see, I'll go ahead and take the tip off here, the little wrench that came with the gun, so you can actually see the teeth as they come out. Like you'll notice, you can see the teeth right there. That's what grabs hold of the rivet. And then you want to line up the hole through both sides so you can get the pin through it. And usually what I do, if you notice, the sides of the pin are a little bit different. One is kind of recessed in a little bit, the other one's flat. I put the recessed one towards the spring. So just shove that down inside there. And you want to make sure that that hole does line up properly. If you don't, the rivet won't pass through. And if you release the gun, that pin will push up against. And you'll notice you got the hole right there in the back end of the gun that allows that rivet to pass through. And the pin's in there, you can go ahead and pull the paper clip out, and it should work pretty freely. Let's go ahead, and you'll notice to put the tip back in, you got to squeeze down. Screw that back in there, and then we'll tighten it up with a little wrench. Now I'm going to get a rivet and try it out. Okay, slide a little rivet in there. It should grip it pretty easily. Well, you start pumping the handle to draw that rivet in. Be careful when you're drawing that in. Point that rivet down away from you onto a surface where it's maybe smooth, something like that, soft, so it won't hit you, because once that releases, that's going to come out with a little bit of speed. But you just keep on pumping that handle, and then as you release the handle, you need to push the rivet back up in there into those teeth. And there it pops. Now if you keep pumping, if it's working right and you did it right, keep pumping the handle, that rivet should fall out the back. There we go. Falls out the other side. So once you're all done, and that rivet runs through, the first test rivet runs through just fine, you got yourself a good gun.